Hey guys, I appreciate you clicking on the video, and I already want to apologize ahead of time for the unstructured way that this is going to be presented and how I'm going to speak. I'm here with my lovely little lady, Tamara,
Hello.
and we've just here together and just sitting here on a Friday night. We just want to make it a quiet night, and we're kind of just talking about what is on our mind lately and oh my gosh, to introduce all of these things that's going on in our life right now and the full context of where this conversation was even coming from is very intense. But as you guys know, as for you guys, for you people that know me very well, I've made a recent move to my. See, this is the reason that podcasts are so important. I'm sitting here with my future wife. I would even call her from my fiance. I just haven't bought a ring yet. But she's sitting here and smiling, and she can jump in at any time as I'm looking at her. But guys, I've had my whole life working, and I've always wanted to use social media and the internet to put my ideas out there and to talk and to share what's on my mind and maybe even earn some income from that. But my entire goal in this podcast right now is basically to rebrand what I've been doing with my YouTube channel, and even just using this rebrand word is a stretch because I never branded myself. So we just finished dinner here, and we're just discussing, well, what do you want to do tonight? And I've always had it on my mind to really introduce a podcast and really create a community online. So this is what I'm trying to do, and we can sit and think about all day how to do this, how to do that. But at a certain point, just press record and go. I really get frustrated when a decision takes so long instead of just jumping in and going. So, guys, ahead of time, thank you so much for clicking on the video, and thank you so much for listening. For those of you that know my voice, and those of you that will also are getting to know my voice and me, I really appreciate the support. There's plans on coming, starting Patreon, whatever, but that's way down the line. Anyway, guys, so I'm here with my lovely fiance Tamara. I've moved. I'm an American that's moved out of America. She's Georgian here in Europe, and we just finished our MBA together. I met her in Budapest, Hungary, and we're starting our life together. We're both looking for a job to come together. She's not an American citizen yet. I'm not a Georgian citizen yet, and we're trying to just make our life work. And for me, a totally different country, and for her, and under totally different circumstances. Now that we're together, and um, the entire topic of the discussion right now is just starting a relationship, maintaining a relationship, and not just a relationship that like, oh, this is my boyfriend, this is my girlfriend. Like this is the person that I'm talking about, a relationship where this is the person that you want to be with forever, that you want to build something with, that you want to have a family with. So, I'm sitting with her here, and she's just looking into the sky a little bit, and so basically I'm curious on what she has to say. She has a very interesting perspective that's different from mine. I'm kind of in your face and excessive, somewhat of an American style, and she has a more conservative, polished style, I would say. But Tamara, please just don't try. This is just for fun. Don't
Okay.
try to be so diplomatic as you have the beautiful ability to be. But basically, I'm curious on what you have to say to motivate people looking for that special someone to really build something with, not just a boyfriend to move in with, or maybe, but to have the relationship where if someone asks you, you're dating someone right now, would you marry this person? If the answer is anything other than yes, I absolutely would, what can they do about that? How should they think about that? I'm curious on you because fortunately, you and I are in the situation where we're in a relationship. And if you ask me, yeah, sure, technically, according to paper, we're not married yet. But if you ask me, okay, you're with Tamara, would you marry her? My answer is absolutely yes. So I pray and I think that your answer is also yes. But I'm curious on what you have to say on the topic.
Well, yes, it's a very interesting topic, and I think one of the hottest topics of all times, because people usually always try to find the second half. They sometimes spend their whole life finding the right person. So I can say yes, we might have different perspectives or how we might see how this process may go because we're coming from different countries. We might have different cultural background, but I think that in our case, there was some sort of similarity in values, views. Even you
Definitely.
told me that you are actually a bit conservative as well.
Very.
So, yeah, basically, yes, it's a very popular topic, and I can say that from my personal experience, that personal life for me has never been like one of the factors for me making a decision in life or moving forward. And this year, in
You
particular, it was one of the most important factors for me moving
your
forward.
personal life wasn't a major consideration for making decisions. What do you mean by that?
Yes, for example, if I was, let's say, if I try to make a decision, okay, what do I want to do now in life, or what is my objective? Basically, I always took into consideration my uh, work, what I want to achieve. There has never been anybody or my personal life in this case that I should have taken into account. So
It's a
what?
very big
Yeah.
compliment. Thank
So
you.
yes, yes, I've told you that.
Hmm.
Yes. So it was actually really for the first time when I, for example, after graduating, yes, I already knew beforehand that I should have made a decision whether I come back to Georgia or let's say if I stay in Hungary, etc. Or yeah. So and I really took into consideration the fact that in this particular case, I should also take into account your preferences as well. So, and we,
Thank
yes,
you.
yeah, of course, it's very important because you should take into account what, yes,
Hmm.
you wanted to
Hmm.
achieve, what were your preferences and interests. But also on this topic, I would like also to add a very important thing that regarding finding the right person in your life, why people actually sometimes even spend the whole life finding the right person.
I'm so glad that we're not
Sometimes,
doing that anymore. Oh my God.
sometimes, you know, in my particular case, I have always had this approach that I did not want to waste my time, emotions, efforts on some people that I was not particularly interested in. I don't know, maybe I have very good intuition. From the very first second, I can say whether I'm interested or not. So,
So you think? No, I'm kidding. Yeah,
yes.
you really
So,
do. Yeah.
so basically that's why some people they just date in order just to say, oh yes, I'm dating.
Hmm.
I did not want to do this, and I prefer to be okay. I'm single, but yes, I can have a good time even if I'm single. But some people dated somebody in order to be entertained sometimes, but they were not. They did not have any serious feelings towards people, those people whom
Absolutely.
they were
It's a
dating.
disease, dating to be entertained.
Yes, exactly. So
I'm
that's
guilty of
why
that, honestly.
it's very important that each person um, is, how to say, is in harmony
Hmm.
with himself or herself. If the person, if you are really interested in your personality, all people will be interested. So, or if you
The
can
right
really,
people will be interested,
yes,
not all, I would
or
say.
yes, of course,
You
but
don't want everybody interested,
of
otherwise you're.
course, yes, but I think my point, if I want to express it more correctly, so that um, each person should be able to entertain himself, herself, and not to be bored with his or her personality. That's why if you feel bored with yourself, other people will also feel bored.
Of course.
So you should always have something on your mind. Okay, I want to do this. I'm interested in this. So I think that this is very important. So you are in harmony with yourself. Yeah. So that's why I have always had this approach. That yeah.
Yeah, Tamara, I completely agree. Oh my God. I can tell you since I've met you and since we've been together, which for the listening audience, we started our MBA together in Budapest, Hungary, in September 2022, and I already initially had already made my first impression about her the second I saw her. We're gonna add video to these podcasts soon, so for now, guys, just please sit back, relax, and enjoy the audio. We'll try to make this as useful or as calming and relaxing or as positive as possible. But yeah, so we've been together since the that summer of August 2022, a year together, already a year and a half, pretty much. And yeah, as an American, I never ever thought I would leave the country to pursue not just a woman, but to pursue love. And I Tamara knows better than anybody. I was the guy who was saying, I don't care how much I love my future wife. She's signing a prenup. I'm not getting married until I'm 35. I'm not getting married until I have $1 million locked up in an account where I will never tell my wife about. But Tamara has turned my mind completely 180 degrees. And you know what? The fact that I feel like I don't have to be on the defensive with her is great. But obviously, I hope that everyone out there can find that. And I don't know whether it's for her coming into my life as I mean I can tell you guys right now, before I met her, I spent almost 5 years in the U.S. without even a single date. And I kind of developed this coldness towards relationships and marriage during that time in my mid 20s. And she's really turned my mind around on this. And here I am in Georgia, where pretty much Eastern Europe. It's a post-Soviet country. And as an American, obviously, I value capitalism, and it's just interesting to me to see to be obviously Georgia is not communist Russia, obviously. And for anybody out there, I'm telling you, for the Americans out there, do some research about what's going on outside of the world, because I can tell you, when I came to Budapest, I was clueless about what's going on in Europe, Africa, Asia. And honestly, if you would have given me a globe and asked me to point out certain countries, even this country that I'm in right now, her country of Georgia, I would have been like, what the heck? I don't even know. And or ask me the cities or certain cities where certain cities are in the world. Call me ignorant. I don't know. But, you know, that step to take the MBA outside of the U.S. on a full scholarship was very interesting. And honestly, back on the topic of just relationships, I can say undoubtedly, and hopefully there's no administration from the university listening to this, but I would take her. She was the most valuable part of this degree. I do not like school. In fact, and school doesn't impress me. Most professors, except Jordan Peterson, don't impress me. I'm happy for them, great, but I just, everybody has their own preferences, and at a certain point, I'm not afraid to say what mine are. I do not like the environment of learning within a classroom, but I do obviously love to learn. And this podcast is a process of learning about my partner, learning about myself, learning about technology, learning about the internet, learning how to build a community. But the whole point I'm trying to make right now is that to get into this kind of relationship, and to, if you're feeling hopeless out there, do something different, go somewhere different. you know Obviously these things usually require some additional money, and thank God when I was working I saved money. But you know, uh, anyway, guys, I'm getting into my backstory a lot. I really want to keep this up between a conversation between her and I. Again, thank you guys for listening so much. We're sitting here at the table, and then I've already, this is pretty much today marks the second week, the official second week since I got here. I got here October
Yes.
4th,
Hmm.
2024.
Yes. Yes.
And um, I'm curious on how she feels about this, because guys, you know, I can speak for myself. The way that I see Americans do this, boyfriends and girlfriends move in together way too early. When, if you were to, I don't know, but I feel like if the answer of, if you're living with your boyfriend or girlfriend and you're asking them, would you get married with this person tomorrow if the opportunity was offered to you, and if the answer is anything other than yes, I absolutely would, then are you guys just roommates, or are you guys in a relationship? I kind of made sure to avoid this kind of tactic in my own personal life. Anyway, the whole point, I'm curious on what you tomorrow have to say about this big step. We're not here moving in together just to save some money or see how the relationship goes. We're here together to make the relationship go.
Yeah. So basically, we had this conversation. I think even yeah, I think 1 year ago. I think you asked me what I thought about this, and my answer stays the same because I'm coming from this country where basically just moving in to test the relationship or just to see okay how it will go. It's not accepted because here people treat it very seriously.
As it should be.
Yes. So basically, if young people start living together, it already means that they have made a decision to be together.
As it should be.
So,
Yeah.
but just moving in for fun, just to, okay, I don't know.
You're a hooker. Just kidding.
Yes, yeah, just for fun to test. Okay, how it will go? Maybe it works, maybe not.
That's what dating is
It
for.
does not make sense. Actually, I've read it in one of the books. I think I read one book about relationship. I think maybe I don't know, maybe several years ago, and I like that. There is actually very good advice, uh, basically about moving in together. That particularly it says that it will not make sense. It will not give anything. If you already want to be with a particular person, if you already love this person, you should accept this person as this person is
Hmm.
with his or her habits, everything. But just moving in and testing, okay, how will it go? It's yeah, it does not make sense. It will not bring anything.
And I
So
would love to see you guys' comments if you have anything else to say about this. Whether you agree or don't agree, guys, the comment section will help us to create more videos and more relevant topics. Please definitely leave a comment, whether you love it, whether you hate it, whether you listened for 2 seconds or 5 seconds, or the whole until the end, guys. Please, your comments are so appreciated.
mhm.
Okay, sorry to just a little
Yeah,
housekeeping.
yeah, no problem. So yeah, basically, this is how it works here. That yeah, in Georgia in particular, people move in together when they're already made a decision, when already families know each other, when
Hmm.
already families are very happy for them, and of course, yeah, this is how it should be. I think I also agree. So yes, and yeah, this is basically it. Yes,
Hmm.
regarding this topic. What do you think, Clarence? I think you also agree.
Yes, I also agree too. Honestly, my view of relationship has changed a lot since I met you. I told you how I thought about it. Like, oh, I'm going to protect myself under all circumstances. I'm gonna be ready to walk away from my partner before, and she's shaking her head,
Oh
which
my
she should
God.
be. But truthfully, that's I was putting myself in a position to be ready to. I had it in my head. If and when I meet somebody, I will be ready to walk out the door at the first sign of a problem to protect myself and protect, you know, not necessarily my family, but to just protect myself. But honestly, when I met her and when I really got to know her, um, you know, she has she has calmed me down, and I can honestly tell the young men out there, and hopefully tomorrow you can say the same thing to the young women, that young guys out there, there's still hope. The good girls are still out there, the princesses are still out there, and by princess I don't mean an entitled little be not an entitled little girl who thinks that, oh, everything should be done for me, but like a classic princess that's well behaved, respects the people in her life, respects me as a man as well. That's the number one thing. She has never ever gone against me in a disrespectful way or anything. And there's been plenty of times where I made a mistake, but she doesn't bring up my past. She doesn't bring up the mistakes I've made. And I really respect that as well. And truthfully, I would never do the same thing to her. But also, if I really tell the truth, I have nothing to say about her. Is she really is a princess. So for those guys that are out there that are losing hope, um, I'm not saying leave the country, but have some hope. Have some hope, because guys that are out there, honestly, I wouldn't have been ready for her if I met her at 18 or 25. I wouldn't have been ready for this relationship. So, guys, and those of you that know me know that I have my faith in a higher power, and I'm going to talk about that throughout throughout this relationship and throughout this podcast, guys. Just keep doing what you're doing. Keep doing the right things, okay? Keep doing the right things, and eventually it all comes together. She and I are here in her country, not my country. They have their own alphabet. Regarding myself, they have their own alphabet here. They have their own language, their own culture, and it's even funny that during the winter I like to wear. I'm a sports guy. I like to wear sports stuff all the time, whether I look like I'm going to be a referee or playing football. European football, so American soccer. I like to dress like that, but realistically, not too many people walk around like that. And sometimes my little lady is telling me, put on something else that's more appropriate to the situation. And I just, oh my God, I'm an American. Just kidding. But so it's a whole different situation. But guys, if I didn't have faith in myself, I wouldn't have met her, number one. If I didn't have faith in us, we wouldn't have made it this far. If I didn't have faith that, I'm a capable person, I wouldn't have moved here because we don't have it. We're not working yet. We're both just finished the MBA literally in July of 2024. And, thank God that one of the things I love her about her too, guys, is that she is financially sensible, So, we both came into this with savings, and we can afford to sit here on a Friday night and make this little fun podcast and have a discussion together, as well as we have time, we have our savings, and I know the job will come, but it's these little things that we're doing together that really make a lot of sense. And I feel I've only been here for 2 weeks, but it's as if we've been living together for years already, because there's no moment of, oh, I don't like the way you do the dishes, or why did you cook this like this, or you didn't buy the groceries. We do all of these things together, so there's not even a moment of friction between us. Even though we've never lived together yet, I've known her. She's stayed at my place for a couple of days at a time, and I've stayed at her place a couple of days at a time. But now we are literally together 24/7, and there's not even a single moment of, why this? Why this? She doesn't get on me. I don't get on her. I don't have to. She's not a kid. I do not have to tell her what she needs to do. She doesn't need to tell me what I need to do. Obviously, we're different, and I whatever. I'm just going to do things differently. Not that I do everything she tells me, and she does everything I tell her, and that's not even necessary. We just move together and we flow together really nicely, and it's not even a discussion of, oh, do this, do that, don't do this, don't do that. It's just we flow together very nicely, and that's the whole reason I had the confidence in this relationship to come up to this point. So we're 2 weeks in, and I'm looking forward to it, guys. So our plan is to put out a podcast every couple of days, at least once a week. We have the time. As I mentioned, we're planning on setting up a Patreon too, guys. Support us however you can. There's a lot of people feeding you stuff on social media that's complete garbage, and we're trying to do the opposite. So if you can appreciate this mission of just making something meaningful, making the internet a more productive, positive, and insightful place, guys, comment, like, subscribe, everything, all the stuff that they all say. I would we really appreciate that. So like I said, guys, this is the whole point we're trying to do today. We're just discussing some relationship topics. I turn it back over to Tamara. She's sitting patiently, beautifully, quietly next to me, and I am curious on her reflection, or what's on her mind.
Mm, well, the most important, honestly, I have already said. So I'm also very curious, guys, what you think about this topic and what we have discussed up to now. So it would be very interesting to see what you think about it. So please don't hesitate and comment. Yeah. What else, Ferenc?
What's hard? Honestly, we're together here, and we're together for the rest of it. And I mean, like, a life. You know, at this point, do you identify anything that's like hard?
What is hard? Honestly, no. I don't find anything difficult in
Hmm.
I mean on a daily basis. Not
Is
in
there anything you
relationship.
need to remind yourself of each day
Remind
regarding being together?
not in particular. No, actually not.
Hmm.
I don't know. No.
On
No, as you have mentioned, I mean, we don't have to, say to each other, okay, do this or do that, or remind each other about some things. I think we already are quite very, we are adults, we
Hmm.
have already lived independently, and we know what to do, how to do. So it's just a matter of, now just
Considering the other person at all
considering,
times.
of course, yeah, considering the other person all the time. So it's very easy. You just, okay, agree, okay, let's
When
do
you're with the
this, let's
right
do
person,
that.
it is very easy.
Yes.
If if you having a problem considering the other person on a daily basis, something is wrong. Either it's
Hmm.
not the right person, or you're not doing your, or someone is not doing the right thing, and it's probably not just one person to blame. It's both people to blame. So
Hmm.
I I'm a big proponent that you can never blame your partner 100%.
Yeah, of course, there is something that you should find inside yourself. There is always problem inside you if there is something wrong. It can't be that only one person is to blame. So that's why, yeah, so usually both sides there is an issue. I think so. So
Hmm.
it's very important to agree on some things and to talk. This is also very important. It's always, open talk always helps,
Hmm.
rather than, silently keep some, I don't know, anger or
Sure,
anything.
sure.
So it's better to talk
Yeah.
openly, to be open.
Fortunately, from our end, it obviously yes. If something, if there's something that's bothering you, say it. But in terms of being together, on a daily basis, I remind myself that, because I don't know. Personally, I could go days without talking. I could just buzz around, do whatever I want to do. So when I'm with her, when I'm with you tomorrow, I try to always remind myself, tell you what's on my mind. If there's whatever it is, it doesn't matter. I'm telling you, before we started to record this, I was in my head very strongly in the while we were when I was preparing just the quick dinner, that we've been here for 2 years. Obviously, we've applied to plenty of jobs. We're continuing to apply for jobs, but it's a quiet Friday night. I don't feel like going out. The wind is blowing here in Georgia. It's starting to get kind of cold, and I don't have the mood to go out and go out and entertain myself. I want to entertain myself productively here at home, and this is and I haven't made a video in 2 years. I think since I started my studies with the MBA. So, I was really in my head, just like, I really want to start this podcast. I've told her about it a million times. I've told myself about this a million times. And, you know, some it's just a matter of for us just to jump into it. But honestly, I was having this on my mind for days because, with I really appreciate our free time, not having the luxury of being able to go and buy things, pay for the rent. We even have a trip coming up to a reservoir here in Georgia that I plan on fishing. We're going for 3 days, and that's all wonderful. We have these finances, disposable income to do these things, but there's a lot of time in the day when you're not going to work and then trying to balance everything. So, you know, I'm not going to say that I'm bored at all. That's not what I'm saying. But what I'm saying is that something productive needs to be done. We have a very rare and valuable opportunity to have free time to do whatever we want with. There's no financial pressure over our head right now. Sure, would I like to buy a house and a country house here? Absolutely. But that's down the line. Fortunately, thank God that there's no financial pressure on us. We're gonna be fine. We can give you guys a podcast every single day for 3 months if we really wanted to. You want to?
Yeah, let's do it. Why not?
Okay, 90 days, 90 and 90, as my friends of Bob know. Um, yeah. So regarding, we're already hitting the 30-minute mark. On a podcast number one. Before we were even going to record, I was just looking at her and just saying that yes, tomorrow let's do between more than five, less than 10. And so, if you guys have made it this far, thank you so much. Um, Regarding just coming together, oh man, I got to give my personal, again, guys. I tell you guys what's on my mind and where my heart comes from. I'm not telling you what to believe in or how to believe in it, but in my mind, I thank God for the position that I'm in. I really, Tamara, she has put me in a state of faith and of peace where I have already surprised myself multiple times with what I'm doing in my life, and I feel no fear about her. I feel no fear about finding work. Obviously, I mentioned I don't speak the language or know the alphabet here, so I'm looking for American remote jobs, and that's fine. But regarding the relationship, that's the hard part. Getting a job is easy. Getting you know paying the rent. Well, getting a job should be easy. Let's call it that way. Getting a job should be easy. They're out there, and for those of us that are doing the right things, it's easy to move forward with that. But developing the relationship where she and I are together 24/7, that's the most important part. And by developing the relationship, I mean just making sure that I'm attending to her, making sure that she's attending to me, figuring out the process of how we do things, even simple things like getting down like a schedule. Um, it's very it's easy. It sounds easy and it's simple, but somehow along the way, I don't know. Sometimes I just look at relationships and obviously you have no idea from just looking at the surface, but sometimes you see things like how did a relationship get so far off the track where just deciding what time to eat dinner or breakfast or lunch is such a fucking headache, you know? And that's the opposite of what I want in our relationship. So, we discuss all these little things. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how redundant it is. I want to get these things sorted out here, now, immediately in the beginning while we have time. So when later down the line where, you know, if kids need to go to school or to blah, 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 or if she's at work or I'm at work or she's wherever, that we don't just explode in the middle of dinner. Like, I told you 10 years ago to stop making dinner at 7 o'clock, because somehow it happens. So I'm glad that we have the free time to just focus on how we want to build the structure of our life together. And no conversation is too small to have. No conversation is too small to have. Even simple things like going, we're here in a one bedroom, one bathroom uh place, and it's very good, and I like it a lot. But it's even simple things like, oh, tomorrow the bathroom is always open. Just when I close the door is closed. I need some privacy. And it's simple things like that. But no conversation is too small. I want to talk about these things now, put all the expectations up front now. It's not even expectations. It's just no conversation is too small. And that's what, and if anybody is out there, struggling in a relationship or just getting started or thinking about getting one started, or if you notice anything, that's the obviously I'm no expert. I'm not claiming to be. All I can do right now is tell you guys what I think, where I'm at, and if it makes sense to you and you run with it, great. If not, great. If I don't know what I'm talking about, leave a comment. Tell me why I don't know what I'm talking about, and then we can discuss it from there. Um, but yeah, if anything, the beginning stages of a relationship is that there is nothing too small to discuss. But then that's even forgetting. We're already getting way, 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 way ahead of the line. Like that we're living together. But tomorrow, maybe we can talk a little bit more about when we were getting to know each other.
Hmm.
How did we even get to this point where we decided where two people from two completely opposite sides of the world are coming together, regardless of citizenship concerns, you know, uh, all these different considerations.
How it how it happened, right?
Yeah. What
Well,
what what
well, basically, I can say for sure that for me it was a very surprising fact that I found a
when did you know it was going to be worth it after you talk about what you
wars.
yeah, when did you decide this is going to be worth it? It's going to be kind of crazy, but when did you decide, you know what, it's worth it? But also just finish what you wanted to
Wars.
say.
No, I just wanted to say first of all that for me it was surprising that I found a common language with you very fast. Uh,
Do you mean English?
yeah, no, I mean, I mean that when we started communicating, getting to know each other as group mates, as university friends, so I did not see any barriers. I felt like as if I knew you. I don't know, since my childhood, let's say. So it was very easy to communicate with you
Were
initially.
we making love? What? Guys, we're also trying to put some comedy into
So,
this.
but
Don't mind the naughty
yeah,
jokes. I
and
want to
also
also have some laughs here.
so, but also yes, and that's why we spent time during the first year. We went for walks, we met somewhere also with our friends, and this is how we got to know each other. Yeah, slowly.
Slowly,
Yes,
keyword
yeah,
slowly.
slowly,
I
yes.
have personally can say that I've never felt the desire. Not, I don't even know. I've just never pursued someone so long, and I'm telling you guys, you there's a lot of talk out there, but the longer you pursue someone reasonably, she wasn't making things unnecessarily difficult, but the longer the process you get to know each other, the better the ultimate relationship will be ultimately. If you just
Mm,
jump right in together, then you find a million problems down the line. I really got to know
mm.
her before we came to this, before we even had our first kiss, I will say, like almost a year.
No, we communicated as university friends, and of course I can say that yeah, even after the first semester, you were already one of the closest persons for me in
Hmm.
Hungary. So
Same.
yeah, and yeah, regarding when I thought that it was worse, yes,
Yeah. When did you decide that, you know what, he's from a totally different country. We're gonna have to figure out a country to live in together. We're going to have to figure out where and how to raise a family together under
mm,
one
yeah.
nationality. It's going to be a headache. There's a lot of paperwork in the well, it's not a headache if it's worth it. And for her, it's absolutely worth it. And for me, it's worth it for her. But at one point you decide, you know what, I don't care the curveballs that are going to come. We're
Mm.
not neighbors. We're not from the same town. We're not from the same state. We're not from the same country. We're not even from the same side of the world. At what point did you realize that, or did you decide, you know what, it's worth it?
Mm. Well, I think that. Mm,
The first second you saw me. Good answer.
no, wait.
No,
Wait.
I'm
No,
kidding, obviously.
of course not.
That
Wait.
was me. The second I saw her, I was like, I need this
Because,
girl.
no, wait. First of all, I told you that initially I had already interest because I noticed you, because you have a yes, so you have a charisma. Yes,
Thank you.
you attract people. You yes, and I remember that yes from the very first day when I even asked myself whom I particularly remembered from all the group mates, guys in particular. So it was you, of course. I admit it. So and yes, slowly then I got to know you. Of course, we communicated. But then, of course, regarding whether it was worth or not, of course, I think it was I think when we started dating, yes, because otherwise I would not have started dating you
Hmm.
because it was a very serious decision. And I can admit that, yes, cultural difference, also the fact that we're coming from different countries, yes, I had it on my mind and I particularly was thinking about it when I already understood where this relationship is going. It was already transferring from friendship towards, yes, some romantic relationship. So, of course, yes, at that point I already thought that yes.
Marital relations.
So, yeah, at that point I already was thinking, yes, what I had to do. And, yeah, of course, yeah, I made a decision, yes. Otherwise, yeah.
Tamara, you really, you are such a good example for women out there. You just said that you would not have even started dating me if you didn't think it was worth it. You wouldn't. So there was already a lot of pre thought and pre decision making and a lot of things already going on in your head before you ever agreed, yes, I will be your girlfriend. So
Oh,
yeah,
mm,
I hope and pray that if the young ladies or women in general that are listening to this right now have made it up to this point in the video and have heard her, honestly, when I think about if we have daughters in the future, I I know, but I still pray that they see things her way, because tomorrow I wouldn't want my daughter to do anything else. If I don't want her to date just to entertain herself, because
mm.
that's how you get hurt. That's how especially women get hurt, dating for entertainment.
Yeah, because yeah, exactly. So that's why, yeah, it was a serious decision. I did not start it, to entertain myself. I can entertain myself even without anybody. So yeah, so That's why it was something that I realized it was serious, of course. Yeah, and I treat everything seriously. It might be strengths or weakness, I don't know, but basically this I would say quality has always helped me because I treat people seriously, and in particular, I treat feelings of other people also seriously.
Mhm.
Yes, so basically, yeah. This is.
Yeah, I totally agree, Tamara. On from my end, when I think about, excuse me, when I think about at what point I started to take this seriously, I can also say the same thing. When I really got to know you, I also noticed that as strong and serious as you can be as you take things, I know that you're very sensitive as well. And when I realized that, and I also knew that I have genuine feelings of care for her, I want her to be happy and I want her to be taken care of, and I don't want her to be stressed. And I especially don't want to be the cause of that stress, though I would be lying if I said that there weren't instances where I did cause stress. But when I realized that I want you to be safe and taken care of, I also made that decision for myself. Like, I am not going to keep chasing her if not just obviously I'm not going to keep chasing her just to entertain myself because she's cute and pretty and smart and talented, and I enjoy being in her presence. It was more of not it was all of those things, but it's especially that I do not want to see her suffer. Am I going to take this seriously? Yes. And then at that point, when I say seriously, I don't mean like, oh, I'm just going to date her seriously. I'm like, no, this is a girl that I want to be with. The dating is a part of it, but this is a girl that I want to be with. So yeah, I could definitely say even way before we started dating, I once I realized that I really liked you and I wanted this to keep moving in that direction and go way beyond dating, way beyond that. That's when I started to also realize, like, not realize, but just come to terms with, okay, this is the situation. It may not always be easy, but it's going to be worth it. And I mean, like, legally with countries and citizenship and things like that. I can tell you for sure the relationship together has been not only the easiest but the best for
Mm,
sure.
thank
And
you.
of course tomorrow. And you know, here you and I are sitting together and just talking about this stuff, and you know, I just think about all the people in relationships out there that either want to be in a relationship, don't want to be in the relationship, want to change something. If there's a problem out there, it's very difficult it may be difficult to relate to what we're talking about, but at the end of the day, you will know when it's the right person. And it sounds cliche, but not love at first sight, but eventually you realize that, like, yes, this person is really, really good match for me. And a lot of people are out there struggling, looking for that person, or they think they found that person and it's not the case. But, have faith and keep trying, guys. And, just because what you feel like in a relationship right now may not be what you want, you still have the power to change it. But at a certain point, we've all had breakups, we've all had to move on, and that's just a part of life. So it's up to you and how what your heart and soul says. But it's such a serious part of life. When I was in Hungary, my grandma had I have a Hungarian grandma from my dad's side, and so she was born and died in Hungary. And I went to go visit her grave a couple of times, and when I went there, I really was really thinking about like, I'm at a cemetery, and it wasn't a sad thing, but just looking around, nobody gives. I mean, sure, like if you really change the world, like Elon Musk or whatever, let's say, or George Washington, or you know, sure, that's great, but for the most part, and I hope all of you guys, I really believe that all of us have some sort of impact for the world. But when you get out there, you realize that the only thing that matters is relationship and families. Once you're gone, really, honestly, once you're gone, and oh, I forgot where I was going with this. Damn it. All I'm saying is that it picking the right people to be in your life is the most important decision of your entire life. I do. Oh my God, when it comes to jobs and stuff, great, whatever. But when have you ever seen first name, last name, PhD, doctor, blah 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 on a tombstone? Never, ever, ever. It doesn't matter at the end. It matters who you helped, who you created, who you loved, who you supported. That's what matters. So, it's worth to keep going, but oh my God. And I told Tamara this just recently. I am so glad I found this person because it's one of the biggest struggles in the world. Because there's 1.5 million jobs out there for all of us. There's 1 million companies all of us can start. There's 1 million places for us to go. But I believe that we're going to live, but you're going to live your life, a majority of your life with one person, for the most part, for those of us that are, believe in this kind of system of living. Ultimately, do you really want to be with somebody different every 2 years and never nobody really knows you? You don't really know anybody, and you're constantly guarding yourself because you're in a cycle of people who are just going to rip stuff from you little by little every single time you circulate. And you really want to go through all those phases of getting to know and going through problems and blah 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 blah. Of course not. That doesn't mean you settle, but you need to wait for the right person. And I can say this now, but at the time, like I said, I was very pessimistic about relationships and marriages and eternal partnerships, just not too long ago. But then again, what the hell do I know at 25 years old? What the hell does anybody know at 25 years old? Even 30, tomorrow.
Yeah, I agree. Yes, it's very important. I think yes, there are a million jobs. Uh, we can change our jobs when we want.
Exactly.
We can really do this if we really want to. It just depends on what objectives we have, and it's really, yeah, it's everything is possible in this regard. So that's why, but yeah, finding the right person whom you really want to be with, yes, of course, it might be hard, of course, I agree. And yeah, when you really find that person, of course, this is the most important in life. Family is the most important in life, of course.
Hmm.
Yeah, so of course I agree. It's very important. Yeah.
Well, guys, it's amazing how if you made it to this end of the video, just know this. She and I were just looking at each other, and I was expressing my frustration about not starting my podcast after having this free time. And here we are doing it with our initial plan of doing it for between 5 and 10 minutes, and we're coming up on 50 right now. So, guys, I think it's enough for today, and let's close it out. Tamara and I promise to continue to keep updating. And guys, please support us in any way you can. The Patreon is coming. If you can support us that way, that's wonderful. But obviously the comments, likes, this replies, the subscription to the channel supports me and supports her. And we're not doing this to become millionaires, but it would be nice to see some gain from that. But really, what most important to me is to just have my thoughts, have our thoughts documented, have our life documented together, and have some sort of archive to look back to in the future. Whether it's just our kids that watch this or 50 million people that watch this, who knows? I have no idea. But for the purposes of all my journaling and things like this and social media stuff, it's just for me to look back on it one day in my life and see, yes, this is where I was. This is how I was thinking when Tamara and I had moved in together 2 weeks on October 18th, 2024, and I was how XYZ years old, and I just had dinner, and I was getting frustrated with just not just letting one of my dreams slip through my fingers every single day. So this is what's on my mind. I hope you look back on this podcast and see all your guys the accumulated impact of all your guys' support as well. So, guys, we're coming up on the 50 minutes. Thank you guys so much again. Support us whatever way you
Mhm.
can. I'll try to make those avenues as distinct, clear, and simple as possible. But at this point, I say goodbye and I turn it over to the lady.
Yeah, thanks for listening. And again, please make comments and share your ideas. We would be really glad to read.
And appreciative, of
And
course.
yes, of course. Yeah. So thanks for
All
listening.
right, guys. Good night from Palisi, Georgia. Take care all around the world. God bless.
Yeah.